there is a moment between the first cry and the first school run. And a father can actually relate to this. When you look at yourself in the mirror and just it dawns on you, I am a father. Or maybe you could be asking yourself, I don't want to be my father. I mean, this is a very, very valid conversation we're going to be having here with some fathers and a father to be. And we're just going to hear some insights from them on on fatherhood and legacy. I am Eddie. With me, I have
Segun Olotu.
Dario Nomakinde.
Okay, so we're going to start from the origin actually, and I'm going to be asking Mr. Sukomi.
Yeah.
When did it fully dawn on you that you're going to be a father? And how was that experience? What was the feeling like?
Okay, I think it was a remarkable experience, right? So let me just give a background story. So I think it was just as recent as November 2023, maybe not too recent, right? That my wife wasn't feeling too well, and we had to go do a test. Somewhere at the back of my mind, I remember at the office that day, I was just thinking that, God, please let it be this thing that I'm talking about. Because I've really always wanted to, I really wanted to step up, to go to the next level, right?
Okay.
And I got back home that night, and she even had the video recording of what the experience was like on that day. I was excited beyond words. It was one of the best feelings I've ever had in my life. And 3 weeks later, even before the 3 weeks, I couldn't just wait. My wife had to tell me that we need to wait for at least maybe a month before we can actually get what exactly is there.
Yeah.
I felt like going there the next day to go and check. I felt like going there the next day to go and check what the inside was. But we went for the scan. We saw the baby, just very tiny, something like this, and that was then that
Fully dawned on you.
fully dawned on me like, hey, bro, you left Sunki single and single married, though. You are now going to be
daddy.
somebody's daddy. You guys called daddy before. Somebody's not going to be
Calling
calling
you
you
daddy.
dad, and it was just remarkable. It was a phenomenal experience.
I like the way Dario is smiling.
You know I'm smiling. I wonder how his reaction was. So when she gave you the news,
Yeah.
did you lift her up? Did you cry? Did you go on your knees? Say thank you, God.
That is dramatic,
Thank you for
please.
giving me
That
this
is dramatic.
Okay,
Very
bro.
dramatic.
child.
All right, so if you know my wife, you will know that I cannot carry her.
No shades, bro.
But I was excited. I remember just doing this Spider-Man stunt. I just looked at the wall, climbed. I don't know how.
Is the video available?
The video
Please, we
is
need
there.
to see the video.
The video is there. I was like, are you serious? Are you serious? And yes, and it was just joy beyond words.
So this thing is not Nollywood, though.
It's
It feels exciting. So let's hear from Mr. Olutu. I mean, was your experience the same?
Well, I wouldn't go as far as saying I'm Spider-Man. It was more of a pragmatic, rational conversation, knowing fully well that it was a possibility with the kind of relationship we were going through. So I knew that, okay, I was going to have my wife's companionship.
Yeah.
That was certain, and that was the reason why we're getting married anyways.
Yeah.
However, the kid is a byproduct of that, which we definitely were prepared for. So by the time the news came to me, the pragmatic questions came up: how are we going to do this? What's the plan around this? And because I'm quick to get into diving straight into
Logical.
the realistic part of the whole thing. But deep down in me, I'm sure there was a part in me that was jumping up for joy, saying that, oh, I have somebody that's going to start looking up to me with that first mentorship look, that first loving look, where it's different from when it's a different thing when another person's child comes to love you as your wife. It's a different thing when someone's first love is yours.
Wow.
So it's a different
That's
thing entirely. So basically, that was what I was hoping for, and thankfully, it's been a joyful journey.
It's been a joyful journey. So we're going to talk about that journey. But let it not be that I'm neglecting Dari. I know he's taking notes actually. But Dari, I know you're looking forward to being a father.
Definitely.
Right? And
definitely.
have you imagined what that experience would be like? If you can share just a little.
Okay. So I think it's 1 Corinthians 13:11.
Okay.
I can't remember that says, when I was a child, I spoke like a child, I understood like a child.
Yeah.
But now that
Getting older.
I've become a man, I put away childish things. I think it dawned on me on my 20th birthday, and ever since then I've just been trying to walk in that light.
Yeah.
That preparation of becoming a father. And just looking at what my dad has done since I came into this world and just trying to, do more than that.
Yeah.
There's that prayer, especially for Yoruba parents. They will tell you that, like, I want you to do better than I've done. And I think that's what I'm
You're
also
looking
trying
forward
to attain, because if you look at it, I'm not saying that children are gadgets or
Yeah.
anything, but it feels like you are a custodian of this living entity that God has given to you.
You're responsible.
So you're basically responsible and you're accountable to God for it.
Yeah.
You can't treat it as a mundane thing. It's no longer I'm the man of the home, so I'm just providing. It goes beyond financial,
Yeah.
right? There's the emotional awareness. There's also the part of just being present in your child's life. And just like as Sunki said, I'm looking forward to when my wife will break that news to me. I will somersault like 10, 20 times and I'll carry her up. Definitely.
So,
I'm looking forward to it.
So there's something important that we mentioned here, right? And we touched on it. That's our background, right? You just said your father would always say, "I want you to be better than I did as well." And I think you also touched on that as well. I just in just a very brief overview, how did your upbringing shape you? I mean, not too long ago you were you're still someone's child, but the position you are in now, I mean, you were in that state as well. So what's part of your upbringing has actually shaped you as the father? So I think, Mr. Lutu, you would start.
My upbringing is not typical in
Yeah.
probably today's world, because
Things have changed.
yeah, and in a house where you have multiple of more than 3 children,
Yeah.
you kind of have 2 sets of parents.
Yeah.
Maybe the parents who are biological and the
Yeah.
ones doing the real job,
The
who are
real job of being
elderly
parents.
ones in front. So my brother is 11 years older than I am. My first sister is 9 years older. So those 2 people became de
Like your
facto
parents.
mothers, especially when it was time for me becoming a teenager, becoming those formative years of my
Yeah.
life. It became their responsibility to guide appropriately based on what they had experienced, maybe from the
your parents.
biological parents. So I wouldn't claim to have motherhood or fatherhood from
Them.
my biology, but from those 2, they made sure that lessons they learned were easily passed on to me to make sure that I don't make those mistakes. So I usually tell them when we're at meetings that they walk so that I can run.
Yeah.
So, and that's the reason why today, if I'm going into the world, I'm going fearless, because they've told me,
Everything.
go fearless. So because of that, I kind of appreciate that kind of parenting, and believe that a more hands-on approach and a much more present approach is important for whatever you're trying to do today. As he said earlier, we don't have ownership on these children. What we have is stewardship that God has given us to do. And you have to take it with the most sense of responsibility, because at the end of the day, our job is not just to finance, it's to make sure that they become what they are supposed to do for the next generation, no matter what, if it's their own children or whoever they are going to be helping. So it's important that we raise people that are nation builders too. It's very important. So for me, that part of my own upbringing is what led me into this. I was raised by committee, by all of those people, their friends, and
society, basically.
Exactly. So
I think I mean, on a broad spectrum, we all agree.
Yes.
So, Mr. Sukomi, I just want to ask you specifically, are there things that, you look back at, your upbringing and you say, you know what, I don't think I want to replicate this, in my own family. And, there are things you look back at and you're like, you know what, I think these are things that I will still want to adopt in my family as it is now.
Absolutely. So, growing up, I came from a family of 4, myself, my brother, my dad, and my mom inclusive, right? And, we came from a very humble beginning, and just like Segun has correctly said, likewise, my own self as well, it was more like a communal upbringing, we stay in Ajegunle, the ghetto, so it's really difficult for you to...
You don't look it actually. I don't even sound it. Or there's a side of you we have not seen.
So there are limited privacy. Everybody's actually in your business, So you know that typical what it takes a village to actually raise a child.
Yeah.
That was how it was for me, right? But coming down to my own nuclear family itself, in terms of things that happened that I'm carefully looking at, ensuring that I'm not repeating, was it was in terms of spending time together, in terms of having that deep relationship. I give credit to my dad. He was a remarkable person. He provided within the capacity and within the scope that he had. I don't know if correct me if I'm wrong. If it is Maslow hierarchy of needs now, right?
Yeah.
It is when the food hunger is actually out of the table, that you begin to think of something else. When you're trying as somebody to put food on the table for yourself and for the family, you know that that is an aspect, a very huge aspect of love, to be honest, at that particular point in time. And that was prominent. It was really, really important because you cannot just be hanging out, trying to bond with somebody, and the child itself doesn't even have anything to eat, So that was what it was like, growing up, I think God has actually been merciful enough to put me in a position where, it's a little bit better, and, having that bonding, that relationship with my kids, would be something I'm actually looking out to actually correcting, and like both of them have correctly said, we are custodian of these people, of these children that the Lord has given to us. We are to nurture them, nurture them in the ways of the Lord, and it's actually very, very important for you to really nurture. There needs to be some form of relationship. There needs to be some form of trust, and this you typically build by bonding very well. And if you're looking at the things that actually happen that I'm still looking forward to replicating, is the mindset that there is always dignity in labor, and no matter where you're from, no matter the background, you can still stand out anywhere. So that's that mindset I'm definitely bringing forward.
Okay, I mean that's very phenomenal. Yeah. So to just buttress what you said, and Dari, I'm just going to be asking you this, right? Because one thing that binds us together seated here is our faith, right? And Dari, just like you said, you made reference to your upbringing and the things your dad had said. You also made a reference as well to the scripture. Have you thought about how you would apply faith to your fatherhood? And if you have, you could just share a little that you have learned, or you have studied, and then we can now hear the fathers and see how they have actually applied these things in their home. So faith, how are you thinking of applying faith as a father? How are you going to apply faith in your home? Yeah.
So rightly said, it takes a community to raise a child, right?
Yeah.
But I believe that the home should be the first place of learning for our children. Yes, I understand we take our children to school, but that shouldn't be their first place of learning. The society shouldn't also be their first place of learning. It should be from the home, from the parents.
Yeah.
And we also understand that fathers are like the priest of the home. So for me, I was 3 months married yesterday. So yes, so 3 months and counting. 3 months and counting.
And counting. It's very good you had that and counting.
3 months and counting. 3 months and counting. And one of the things that I'm trying to cultivate now is just building that culture of what's the word now? The devotion. I'm not talking about personal devotion now. So I'm talking about the communal devotion, the family devotion, so that when these children come, it won't be a thing where, because they are here, I have to start picking it up. But when you cultivate that culture before the children arrive, it's very easy for them to be integrated into it.
because it's something that
And yes, and it's something that, I and my wife we're used to it. We've been cultivating that habit. So it's easy, like it is slippery slope. Just very easy to
just
ease in.
integrates into.
Exactly. So there's that aspect. There's also the part of just reading faith-based books, faith-based books,
Faith-based books,
yeah, and other books to help me, cultivate my knowledge in how to properly bring up these children in today's society. Because I believe that the timeline that I grew up in, my generation, is totally different
Completely.
from this generation of children that are coming up right now. And I think one of the things that I am also trying to avoid, and I'm trusting God for, is the fact that, so I know that I was raised up in a certain kind of way, and if care is not taken, we can sort of like project that into our children.
Yeah.
Yes, into raising up our children. So because, my dad said that curfew is 6 p.m., so coffee must be 6 p.m. for my children. My dad said that breakfast must be had by 8 a.m., so breakfast in my house
Must be 8 a.m.
must be 8 a.m. too. So we need to be careful so that we do not project those sort of things into our children. So we need to run back to our Heavenly Father. It's just plain simple. Run to Him for wisdom, to help guide us in this current time and age. He says that Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. So you just have to run to Him to help you raise up children in
godly
this new, godly children in this new generation. Because things are happening. A
we all
lot
know,
of
we all
things
know, we
are
all know.
happening. So
So before we come to Mr. Olutu, so Sukomi, I saw your son, and they were singing a gospel song, and he was dancing and he was happy, and he had this very specific song. They tried changing the song, and he wasn't having it until they sang that specific song for him, and you could see the joy, inside him, when that song came up. So just looking at that and reflecting on it, I just want to ask, how do you talk to your son, as young as he is, about God? I just feel like there are a few people that could actually learn something. If I ask Mr. Olutu now, he'll tell us, you talk, we have Bible devotion, we sit down. But for, like a toddler that, is growing up, how do you talk to your child about God? Because I've seen it happen practically.
Yeah. So correct me if I'm wrong now. I think it's Psalm 27 verse 3. Maybe someone will help me check it out later. That says that you should train up a child in the way you should go. And
Proverbs
is it Proverbs?
26 verse 2.
Yeah.
26 verse 2. All right, thank you. So it's Proverbs that said that you should train up a child in the way that he should go, and when he gets, he would not depart from it. So essentially, we are. Myself and my wife, I won't take credit for it alone. Myself and my wife, we are really intentional as regards the type of children that we actually want to bring up, right?
Yeah.
Like we have said time and again, during the course of this conversation, that the children that they are the heritage of the Lord, and the way we will answer for the way we had actually raised them, right? And it's not even in this time and age where there are quite a number of things happening all around that you would not be really intentional as regards the type of person that you want to, that you're raising. And it's also important for us to know that to get to a time, these children, this offspring that we're actually raising, they will not be with us forever, right?
True.
They would also go out and explore the world, and it is what you have actually put in them that they will go and exhibit outside in the larger world, right? So it's a practice. We have a regular practice of actually ensuring that whatever we do, because children of nowadays, they are very, very smart. What you say, what you do, those things, they listen to it, and and they tend to replicate it as well. So I'll say it is both consciously curated, and it's just something that is now naturally flowing, and showing out, exhibiting itself in the boy, and we thank God for it, and we ensure that by God's special grace of God,
he's growing.
He's growing.
So so what you're saying to us now is, it's never too late to be. It's never too
early.
to be intentional about bringing up your children in the way of the Lord.
Lion is
Absolutely.
among goats.
Yeah.
For record,
so Mr.
Lulu is
Olotu,
my godson. Lulu is my godson.
Absolutely.
I've been listening to them since.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the fact that the guys keep using words children.
Yeah.
My God. He's thought about it, and it's like, even Darius is saying it as if he's thought about it. He's had a
I'm telling
conversation
you.
about like 5 kids with his wife. I'm like, okay, do you, brother?
Anyway, so for you, right? Knowing you have a child that, again, like they've said, they're very attentive, they're super intelligent. I mean, they're super intelligent. I have to say that again. How has fatherhood made you see God? Like, have you seen God differently? Having a child, how has your relationship with God been? Your personal relationship with God, and also as a family.
Okay. So like everything in this new world we live in,
Yeah.
everything is amplified,
Yeah.
and it's important that you figure out the role that God plays in your life. Marriage in itself makes you look on that edge of things. Business, you have to look at how God affects your business and how it affects everything you do in life. And from my own perspective,
Yeah.
the minute I was going to have a kid, the element of, how is the relationship with my wife and all of that going to translate into this kid? Because there's no relationship with your kid without you forming the first basis of the relationship, which is with your wife.
Yeah.
Once that is on the right pedestal, because you're going to do it together, you're not raising the kids separately, your wife is not raising the kids separately. You're both doing it. Now, are you going to do it 50-50 all the time? No. You're going to do it sometimes more than the wife, sometimes the wife's going to do more than you, but you have to figure out that we're doing this together. So the essence of what I'm saying is, even the God journey is not from a fatherhood perspective, it's from a parenthood perspective, where the two of us are doing it and try to instill those disciplines from the day one. Now, in every element of life, and permit me to be a bit vulnerable here, in every element of life, it's important that you can tap into where God has helped you.
Yeah.
You were talking about faith. Everything about my life, be it my work, be it my education, be it even my health, everything has been based on the faith in God. So my kid can see definitely that is exactly what we're looking at. We do not look at any other altar in this house. It is towards God that we look at for our provision, for my health, for our work, for our direction in life. So there's no other way. That's the only way we explain to you. If we were in a house where my mom used to say growing up, in terms of in Yoruba, she would say "Mi ò gbé yín lọ sílé ológun," means I don't take you to the house of a herbalist or something. But here, what they see, how we do it every week, in fact, when I got married was when I knew, I have to take my journey with God seriously. Coming to church, making sure that that's the example you are setting for the kid. Because everything you're going to be doing is basically example based. So you're going to be living it and showing it to the kid. Be it explaining what is going on in terms of Bible references and what have you, you still need to live it out on a daily basis. You're saying, don't steal, but you are doing everything that is showing it's contrary to that. That's a problem. You are saying work hard. You are not showing effort in the house. Everything. So you won't blame a politician kid if he thinks money just drops from the skies because he was just saying it like that. But you see your dad getting up every day, going to work, coming back. It's something to learn from. My father was an entrepreneur. I kept on looking at him from that, and that was the basis of me becoming exactly. So if you look at all of that, every life that you live is an imitation of some sort. So if you leave a good example in terms of what to imitate, believe you me, even in terms of godly values, it just spreads along the whole house that way. But believe you me, when we talk fatherhood, you don't leave out motherhood, and you don't parent, and all of it becomes parenthood.
That's very impactful. So I mean, I like the fact that you like you said, you're very practical, right? And I don't want everyone to just have the notion of they went to bring perfect fathers, to just come and tell us everything is easy and breezy. Like I just want us to be a little bit vulnerable and just try as much as possible to encourage someone out there. We don't want people to have the impression of everyone here has done everything right, and they have everything figured out, right? So I'm just gonna ask, Mr. Lucy, I'm going to ask you and Sukomi, what has been the hardest part of, of fatherhood for you? Then Daria as well, I'm going to ask you, when you look at it, what are you scared of the most? So, I mean, so that people out there, I mean, there could be something you would say that someone can relate with and just know that, oh, okay, these guys that have said all these nice things, that are having wins, they also have vulnerable moments as well. And you could also encourage them. And if you can also share, what has encouraged you as well. I know God has encouraged all of us, but what has encouraged and has kept you going?
All right. So for me, I think it's important to compartmentalize properly when you're doing this thing, and not say that because you think you are bringing food to the table, that you don't do any other thing. So I'm going to give you a very classic example. We were 3 months into my marriage, 3-4 months into my marriage with my wife, where I got some bad news in terms of my health. Nothing was going to prepare us for all of that. And at that point in time, there are 2 options to take: wallow in pity, or get to work and figure out how you're going to live the quality of life you have, based on whatever, in spite of all these challenges that are coming in front of you. And therein lies where challenges started from. There were challenges regarding raising the daughter and getting your close affinity to your daughter. Now, I have a very, very interesting kid, because they tell you how girls are with their fathers. And my daughter is starting to show that now. But in the early days, it took a bit of, what will I call it now, smacking into shape from my wife to actually put in the effort to get close to my daughter. So my daughter comes up and you try to pick her up, and then she says no, she wants to go to her mother. And then instead of you to put in the effort to make sure that that girl wants to stay with you, you say, okay, go to your mother. So for a couple of years, a couple of months, that was an issue. And I had to get over it, and I had to insert myself even more. So early on, I was always used to carrying her, taking a bath for her, that kind of thing. But I felt I was doing enough. And your partner has the right to call you out on that. And you have also a right of response to make sure that you meet your partner halfway. I don't know the conversations people have before getting to the point of raising children, but it's important that you honor whatever conversation you have with those people, with your wife, before you get to that point, because that will be the greatest disservice that you will do. If you guys have an accountability chat or something in that direction, believe you me, you will keep dragging yourself to get to the finishing point. So if you are lacking in one point in time and your partner pulls you up, there might be it might get to a point where you feel that you are the one to bring your partner up. I've never had that situation, but the situation I've had is the situation where my partner have had to tell me that, guy, you need to pull your weight. And when you get that talk, you don't go defensive. You look at it, get critical of yourself, reflect, and then get to action. And today, I can tell you for a fact that has been my most challenging time in terms of raising my kid. Not financial, not because I've always felt that in terms of bringing this kid here, God will always provide financially, provide in all those directions. But the ability to connect emotionally with that kid was a big challenge at some point in time. But we thank God that he also, at the end of the day, God also showed through in the way that we're going about it. And that's because we have always put God in front of all of these things.
Fantastic. Mr. Sukomi, do you also want to share?
Yeah, absolutely. So, excuse me. So for me, it will be, the greatest challenge has been with, knowing how to spread time and attention. Before marriage even, I've always been that go-getter guy. When I set my mind on something, I really want to do it to the best of my ability. When I'm holding any capacity, not for showmanship, but I just really want to see that thing really excel, know. And that involves a lot of time, invested in that, and energy and all of that, right? Coming into a marriage, definitely that, you're not just one person anymore. There's another person, and bringing in fatherhood into it, there are more people in the house now, and the attention needs to really, time and attention, active attention needs to be really appropriated appropriately to ensure that everything is actually going as smooth. I'll be honest with you, I still struggle up until this moment, I'm still praying to God that the Lord help me, that the Lord help me, because
And he will.
because it's really a thing, and like he correctly said, marriage is actually a team sport. It involves collaboration between yourself and then your spouse, and there's one thing I've actually been doing, right from when the boy came on, is to ensure that I'm able to assist, in the house, with chores, sometimes take care of the baby, give him his bath, so that when mommy is doing something, I'm also doing something else. Because at the end of the day, she's also a human being, and then she also have her own life to also chase, so trying to balance all of these things, can sometimes be stretching me too thin. But we're praying to God for grace. And it's really, really helping.
Yeah, we believe
It's
it,
really
it
help-
gets better.
It's really
It
helping.
gets better.
Yeah.
Okay, Dari, you look very sad. So what are you scared about?
So for me, it would be I'm trusting God that my child will give me peace of mind. I'm trusting God that my child will give me peace of mind.
Yeah.
After all that is said and done, right? I don't want to call it control, but that phase from larva to cocoon, then to the butterfly. So when they get to that butterfly phase, you expect that you wouldn't necessarily be custodians of your children anymore. When they go into the world, just like Sukomi said earlier, the things that you've taught them over the past years, it will help them in their journey. I think one of the things that scares me is, after doing all of these things, having a child that works in the opposite of all of the things that has been, taught, all of the lessons, all of the hard work over the years. I think it scares me. So, just not having a child rather that won't give you that peace of mind. Because when I was a child, I was very chilled. I didn't stress my parents. I didn't stress.
That has such fears.
I didn't stress my parents. I believe so. So I don't want my children to stress me too. Yeah, I'm trusting God to just help me, help them. Yeah, because it's.
We don't hold those controls.
Yes, we don't.
We try and set them up for the best possible outcome, and we pray to God that outcome.
Yes, definitely.
comes through.
So,
in the terms of trying to control things is where
Yeah.
the problem comes up.
Yes,
most of the time.
definitely.
And then-
It's just like you said. It's all about the grace of God, right? Because there's really no way to it. There's no
Direct.
one.
Direct
Yeah,
formula,
there's no formula because on one hand you could have somebody that is just lackadaisical about raising up his children. You could have another person that is very intentional about raising up their children,
Yeah.
and the one that is lackadaisical could get
Intelligence.
properly raised kids, and the one that is intentional could get the opposite of that. So it's just God's grace. I'm trusting God that His grace is sufficient and gives me children that will give me peace of mind.
Peace of mind. I said that.
Yeah, I say all that.
Children.
Yeah.
So how many children? How many kids are you looking at?
Kids
That you have discussed with Madam.
That you've discussed?
Now you've aligned actually.
that we've aligned.
Yeah.
So before that alignment, right? Before that
You
alignment,
seem like you were at 6 and she was at 1.
before that alignment, I was like at 12.
Dari.
No.
Jesus had
I kind of felt it though. I felt it.
Jesus had
It's-
12 disciples, so
Because there was
you have
a
to,
way
you have to
there was
follow.
there one by
There
one.
was
you
a
have
way
to
he
follow
was
in that
talking
line.
about it that I
have to
was
follow
saying
in that
this
line.
guy wants
But-
a multitude in his house. Man.
But after alignment, so I trusting God. We're looking at 2 to 3.
Okay.
2 to 3.
Yeah, reality has set in.
Thank God for that.
Thank you for that.
So, I mean, just to reflecting again, right? Like I said, we all started somewhere. At some point, we're children as well, and we had fathers. We have a father that we looked up to, and we still look up to. I mean, and we said great things about our fathers. So, if our children, when they are grown up and they are sitting where we're sitting now, if they're to see something about my father, that's you. What would you want that story to be? So I'll start with Mr. Olutu. What would you want that story to be?
For me, the story I want her to tell is my father loved me unconditionally, and I'm not going to settle for less from the world, because she doesn't deserve less than what the love that I've offered in the house. So you don't go outside after the love that you've gotten in this house and then let somebody else walk all over you. That shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
The essence of the kind of life that we're living here is for you to understand that you must become your own person. You must have that individuality, and when you're going out, be fair to others, so that once you can't, the people will also be fair to you.
Yeah.
But for you to go out there and now think of the love that you've received to be less, enough that you allow another person step all over you,
It's not acceptable.
it's not acceptable. And that must be the story to tell. Forget your father was successful, your father was this, your father was that. Those are by stories. At the end of the day, it's how you are going to live your life that is going to be affected by what my fatherhood was to you.
Yeah.
And it's what I delivered to you, what I gave to you in terms of love, that takes you out there to express yourself as the person that you're getting love from. That it is trite. My father used to say, it's trite that you're going to make money once you work hard.
Yeah.
So for them, you are setting them up, oh, this is career, this is school, this is all of that. All of that is going to 90% of the time, it
Work out.
tends to, put you on the right path to being able to feed yourself and invest in your life. However, how other people will treat you, how you go into love, how you go into all of that is affected by exactly what I gave to you and what your mother gave to you. So if you're stepping out of the house and knowing that there's a lot of love where I'm coming from, you're not going to accept less from outside.
I was loved at home. Very,
Exactly.
very,
So
very
you
important.
don't go out there and then somebody will now say start beating you or doing all of that. Nah, none of that. So if that's the story that my kid can say, I'm okay with that.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
That's coming.
I'm actually trying as much as possible not to repeat what you
What
have
he
said.
said.
because it just looks so wonderful. Because look, what I want my kids to actually say, about their dad, would more or less be that that their dad raised them, in the way of the Lord.
Yeah.
Right? And I cannot take the fact away from what Shegun has said just now, that that there is love at home, very, very critical, very, very important. Because if there is love being experienced at home, it sets some kind of standard,
For you.
for them as children, so such that they cannot accept anything less, from what they had actually experienced. My wife used to say something, and I feel it's one of
Very
the
important.
remarkable legacy, that let me, for lack of a better word now, our adopted father, if I were to be any less
Than him.
than him, or exhibited traits that were any less than that man, she wouldn't have had anything to actually do with me.
Facts.
So the truth of the matter is, the love, the everyday communion, everyday fellowship that these kids, witness, experience at home, forms some kind of mindset, forms a kind of a philosophy in their head, in their mind, their subconscious, that takes them anywhere, such that by the time they go outside to the world, there are standards. Nobody just come out and then trash them.
Yeah.
No, they know there is this
Their
self-worth.
worth.
They know their worth, and all that, and that's I believe is actually beyond any inheritance that you can actually give to anybody.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
Derek.
For me, I would want my children to say that I remind them of Christ's love for them,
Yeah.
and that in my own capacity, I went above and beyond for them, and I was their confidant. Right? I want my children to be able to say that you know, in the midst of challenges, in the midst of troubles, problem, they ran to me, and with the help of God, I was able to help them assess and prefer a solution to whatever was bothering them.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it for me.
I mean, it's been a very, very insightful conversation. I think a very, very rich conversation. I mean, we've been very vulnerable. We've also shared our fears as well. I mean, to just wrap it up, I would want us to just do two things in one. So if there is someone out there that's a father that is in the thick, going through some sort of challenge, what would be your parting words to them, like their word of encouragement to them as well? And if someone is there, this is one thing I wish someone told me before becoming a father. So that's the two things. Like, those are the two things we're going to do. So the first is, you're out there. I know you're struggling. You're going through very difficult times. This is my word of encouragement to you as, as a father or potential father as well. And this is one thing I wish someone told me. So indirectly, also advising them as well. So if we could do that, then. Thank you. So, Mr. Oluzu, I'll always start with you.
All right. Well, I think first things first, you need to understand that you can't be a father to someone without first knowing yourself and finding the best version of yourself. The best version of yourself is what becomes the best version of the father to somebody else. So, in that light, find the light that God gives to you. And once you find that light exposes every part of your life, be it business, fatherhood, family relations, health, whatever it is. Once you can figure out the plans God has for your life, believe you me, the ones of being a father to someone, God will also show you that part. But what's most important, you must understand that it's not by biology that you're a father. It's by what is the fact that you recognize the responsibility in front of you and take it with all the seriousness it comes with. Experiencing a challenge in fatherhood is normal. What is not normal is you not reacting to that problem. So you have to respond and give it the same type of beating the pain is giving you. You return it back in terms of the kind of action you are taking to redress that problem. So as a father, I would always tell you that you don't just, I don't classify people that just, I have a baby mother somewhere else. I don't classify that as being in fatherhood. A systematic, well-planned arrangement to lead another person, an offspring of yours into the future is what is fatherhood. So once you've taken that first responsibility and you have a challenge in it, you go back to the source, which is God, and then you come back and redress the problem, which is in the physical. I think that's the most important lesson for whoever is going through difficulty. You need to first understand that I have to be right before I can make sure that this young lady, this young man is going to be all right. I think that's the first part to it.
Okay. All right.
All right. So to me, what I would say is, the truth of the matter is nobody has life all figured out, right?
True.
And not even fathers, What I'm not saying is 100% correct all the time. What other people might think as being, this guy is the perfect father anybody can actually have. You're not in the closet of those people. You don't really know what happened because most of the time, people tend to put on some kind of facade, that makes it look more or less like everything is going on perfectly, inside. But then, for a father that is actually going through some challenging times, right? What I would just say, which is not too far away from what he has actually said, is, the first thing is actually to acknowledge the fact that it's a challenge, right? And permits me to quote, not scripture this time, but one of Newton's law of motion that says that the body will continue to be at the position of rest, except as acted upon by an external force, right? So the challenge that you're actually facing will continue to be that challenge, except you're willing to do something differently, right? So it's important for you to do something, do it differently, and in doing something differently, have you tried Jesus?
Very serious question.
Have you tried Jesus? Have you tried the Holy Spirit? Have you tried God the Father? God, our Father, is actually capable of giving you things that you actually need, things that you actually require to be able to perform the fatherly duty to the best of your capacity, So,
Who best to get advice from?
Exactly.
Not because you
Not
want-
because
yeah,
Who's the father of everybody.
father of everybody, So it's just important that we come to God, make Him our source, and ensure that we continue to. It's a refreshing source. It never runs dry. Each time we go back there, to tap from it, to go back there to tap from it, and I believe there's nothing hard for the Lord to do, and the condition that is not as good today can actually improve. I'm sure and I'm certain with God.
Very, very certain. Okay, Dari, so yours, Martin?
Yeah, so my senior colleagues and mentors, they said a lot. They hit the nail on the head. Find a community of
Very important.
like-minded individuals. They're not alone.
Absolutely.
We just celebrated, is it Men's Mental Health
Health,
Month or
yeah.
something?
Yeah.
Some days ago. So you're not alone. Find a community of like-minded individuals. You can find that community in your church, at your workplace, elsewhere. Where you can just talk about one thing that has been said by my senior colleagues. There will be problems, there will be challenges, and if you confide in other people, once there's a community of people facing the same problem, the same challenges, it's very easy for you to get encouraged, right? Just knowing that you're not alone, you're not the only person that is passing through this kind of specific problem. So just find the community.
Find the community. I mean, very, very well said. So thank you so much, fathers and father-to-be. I'll just say fathers. For this very honest conversation. I mean, we've spoken about our faith, we've spoken about fatherhood, we've also spoken about legacy. And, it's always easy for us to connote legacy to, maybe you've created some huge inheritance, or you've created a very huge or big name for your children to inherit. But what we've learned here today is inheritance basically, or legacy basically, is just living a life that, the offspring would emulate, and they'll also do well with the help of God, obviously. So thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. I hope you learned something from this, and I'm praying that you were encouraged by what our fathers had to say. So we'll leave you for now, and till we meet again on another episode. So thank you all again. I'm Eddie.
Dari, this time next year, I'll be a father.
Amen.